The agencies that will have the competitive advantage in the future are not necessarily using more AI. The strategies, tactics, and principles are becoming more human. That means more data, more analysis, and actually more face-to-face contact, networking, and getting to know your clients and the end consumer. Matt Owens grew up around advertising, has built and sold and acquired multiple agencies over his career, and he's now one of the partners at On Advertising in Phoenix, Arizona.
As I was taught, my old man taught me in the business, he said, Matt, our job is only to go get the first 10% of people for our client. The key is we got to get that right 10%, and then that 10% will go get everybody else. And media has always been about what I call tonnage. It's like, how many millions of communication points can I buy for how much money? That's a really inefficient way to operate. You got to be humble to be good at advertising, because you fail a lot. Like 90% of what you throw out there gets thrown in the garbage can, and you got to be okay with that. But it hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
We ask our people to strive to be uncomfortable. You know, we as human beings are built to try and seek comfort, but comfort doesn't drive change. If you're not running a little scared and you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing. You're not growing in your craft. You're not growing as a human. You're not growing as a friend.
Matt walks us through how he thinks about leadership and guiding principles inside the agency that help them inject meaning into campaigns, not just new technology. Matt is a lifetime veteran in the marketing and advertising industry, and this conversation was a real pleasure. I'm Austin Willman, and this is eCoffee with Experts. What attracted you to this agency out of all the agencies you could have partnered with?
When I sold my last agency, which was Partners, and we were the largest agency in town, they're much smaller now, unfortunately. I had a non-compete, so I couldn't go into the advertising agency space, but there was a little crack in there. I could consult. So I began consulting with smaller agencies and trying to teach them what I know, or help them grow, or, grow in their staff, their operations, their client base. And out of all of that, the one that I loved working with the most was On. It was 3 guys. We got along really good. So when my non-compete ran out, I bought in, and we now call ourselves the admigos, because we're friends first and partners second. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah, the admigos. I like that. So when you stepped in as a partner, you were telling me off camera that you're more of the kind of Yoda stage now, which I totally believe it, after multiple acquisitions and buying and selling. What were some of the first things that you focused on when you bought into the partnership?
Well, they were already doing a lot of things right. I had already been working with them quite a bit. I focused on staff and coaching and mentoring, and and also just trying to set us up strategically to grow. And also, I guess, working on creative strategy. Because a lot of people think like what ad agency people do is we sit around in a dark room with a can of Coke and a doobie, and we think of fun ideas, and that really isn't how it goes. As my old man taught me, great creativity comes from profound understanding. And so we have to get our creatives up to speed on everything about the client in as short a period of time, so they're creating into a base of knowledge and wisdom. And when you do that the creative way, it works a lot better. It's much more relevant to the consumer, which is super important. And it also sets a bar for the client and the client's staff to get over in how they perform and how they provide the product or service to the end consumer, because it ties it all together into one neat little package.
So you're talking about maybe there's an onboarding process, getting to know a new client that comes on to the advertising agency, getting to know the client, but then obviously getting to know their clients too. A lot of
getting
agencies
to know their competition and the marketplace and everything. And, that's why like everybody's worried about AI. And I'm looking at it like, man, this is such an amazing, powerful tool, because it allows us to gather that data at a speed that was never possible before. So getting that situational awareness is much easier now, because we can draw on so much so quickly to get us up to speed.
And like you said, a lot of that has to do with AI for an onboarding process for a new client. And we'll not get too tactical here, but there's probably, looking at your friends before partners kind of a path, is that something that you do with new clients too? Like, do you get to know the person beforehand and then the business?
We want to get to know the people running the business. And how I describe a lot of clients when they hire us, they're like a big ship at sea. And a lot of business owners, especially the entrepreneurial class, they feel like if the ship's running good, that's what they need to worry about. But as a marketer, I want that ship to go to some amazing places. And so we want to engage with a client about what is this going to turn into? Where are we going with this? I know you're here today and that's great. And it's running really good and that's awesome. And you're profitable. Love all that. But can we look down the road a year, 3 years, 5 years? Like, where are we going? Because if the clients can put a stake in their ground around that, me and my team, we can chart a course to get there. So we can then drive that boat to where we want it to go. And it's organic and it's holistic. It's not forced. We can do it in a way that it just happens naturally. I've learned if you try and force things, it always has a tendency to blow up in your face. But so many businesses have no idea where they're going or what they want to do.
There's a book called Traction, which is the EOS model. Is that something that On Agent or On Advertising runs on, or is there a different model?
No, it is. Oh, it's my own model. I don't really run
Nice.
on. I think I've read Traction. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I've read a lot of the books on how like good to great and everything else that's out there, and just kind of invented my own way of doing things.
Mm-hmm. And one of the core things in EOS, and you can tell me what the one is for Matt Owens. You have a 10-year vision, then there's almost like a 3-year vision, then one, and then quarters, and then kind of breaking down. What you're talking about when you align with a new client is you help them create, is what it sounds. You help them create almost like a 10-year vision or a lighthouse or a North Star, whatever you want to call it. Do you have specific language around that, or what is that called?
It's different for every client. I mean, different clients are in different places. Some of them are literally trying to change the world, and some of them are just trying to get comfortable and prepare for a buyout. Some of them want to drive greater profitability and aren't driving for growth. They're all in a different place. So we're very flexible. I like to say I'm solution agnostic and I'm also destination agnostic. So my job is to take them where they want to go because different businesses are in different parts of their life cycle. So we're going to dress them and take them where they are. Like when you're talking about the EOS, it's all those destinations are all have a tendency to be about growth. That's not always what a business needs to do. Sometimes a business needs to pivot and turn into a different kind of business because the marketplace is shifting underneath them. And we can help them do that as well. So, and I don't typically go more than 5 years out. Things get really nebulous.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of, you're throwing stuff against the wall. I can chart 5 years and with pretty good reliability. And, as we say, when we're doing this, we want our goals to be trackable. So we always work on SMART goals, and we want the clients to tell us, okay, in a year, it's going to look like this. And then 2 years, we're going to be there. And we want to have multiple, numerical points that we can strive for. So it's not just like, hey, our margin's really good, or hey, our sales are really good. We want to be able to look at the whole picture, and we want to also, like, sometimes it's coming down to, is our staff really happy, and how are we measuring that? Or are our customers happy? What's our net promoter score? And how do we improve that? And it's like, hey, if you're a 6 right now, like in a year, I got to get you to an 8. And even then, I'm not going to be happy. But in 3 years, I want you to be at 9.5 to 10. And that takes, that takes hard conversations that go beyond advertising. But that's a part of it I really love. That's kind of the consulting side of things, of doing more than just creating some fun ads and buying some media.
Yeah. Consulting, coaching, mentorship, visioning, being a leader. I mean, that's where your role intersects at this point in your career. What would you say your leadership style is? Do you have a name for it, or just like how? Let me ask you a different question, Matt.
Okay.
How do you think your team members describe you when you're not in the room?
I think they describe me as the person that cares the most. So I'm a servant leader. I would certainly hope they feel that way because it's true for me. And maybe some of them care more than me. I don't know. I can't put a measurement against caring,
Yeah.
but I always tell them, especially the young people in the businesses, we're in the giving a shit business. And if you don't give a shit, you're not going to be in the business very long because advertising isn't a 9 to 5 job. It is a lifestyle. We eat it, breathe it, sleep it, live it, love it, dream it.
Mhm.
It's not what you do, it's who you are if you're going to be at the highest level of it.
Hmm.
And like, I cannot walk down the street and look at signs the way a normal person looks at a sign. It's not
Yeah.
even in my DNA to do so. So I'm a bit of a freak. I can't watch any video advertising or surf the internet or look at TikTok like a normal human.
Yeah.
Looking at them like going, what the heck are they doing? I wonder
Yeah.
what they're targeting, trying to figure out like, is there a plan there? Or are they just like making stuff up?
Mm.
That's just in our DNA in advertising. It's an all encompassing. And I mean, our people have personal lives, but the craft itself kind of ends up dominating your thinking.
Yeah. It's a worldview for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, this kind of gets into AI. A lot of, I've had the great privilege of hosting over 200 of these episodes. Many of them are with agency owners and digital entrepreneurs. And a lot of what I see that creates drag on the business is opening a loop and then not having a place where that loop is closed, tracked, measured, iterated upon, and then reinitiated. How are you perceiving? I mean, with AI, there a lot more things can be tracked and there can be databases. Like you mentioned, data is one of the most important things internally in as far as operations. Are there sort of loops that get to be closed on a day-to-day basis that keep your operations tight?
Well, our operations, I mean, I've been doing this a long time. Our operations are very tight compared to
Yeah.
an average agency and we're members of the 4A, so we're part of a forum. I get to go visit with a dozen other agency leaders twice a year.
Mm.
Operations are, you know, I hate processes personally, and I really am like the worst ones for process because I am a bit of a maverick. But the agency runs on processes. Now, what AI is allowing us to do, and it is, I really believe that we're in a new golden age of advertising, and it's really due to AI. It's like when
Mm.
television came in, everybody was used to print, and then that crazy thing called radio, the theater of the mind piece.
Mm.
Television came in, and there were agencies that popped up mostly in New York that they called them television agencies. And if you know the agency world, those agencies became like the Y&Rs and BBDOs. They became the behemoths that are multinationals today.
Mm.
AI is going to do the same thing. It's going to do it much faster. Like
Mm.
you're either going to
Mhm.
be part of this movement or you're not. Like we run an awards program here. We call it the Jimmies because we use Gemini as the backbone AI because we just happen to run it as a Google shop. Like we use Google Docs and Google Sheets. So we just bolt Gemini onto it. And
Mm.
we call our award the Jimmy, and every member of our team, top to bottom, including myself, had to create an agent and enter it into the contest.
Mm.
And we do this twice a year. It is judged. There's an actual little award that we have made, and a panel of our senior leaders review all the agents and what they do and how they benefit the agency. And we just handed our first one out 2 weeks ago, and it was amazing.
Mm.
That Jim was, it's something that sounds really simple, came from one of our project managers. It's a spec sheet analyzer.
Hmm.
So when an account person comes up with an ad that needs to be created, there's always the
Mhm.
specs of that ad. And we have forms that they need to fill out to describe what we're going to build. Well, made an agent that will look at it and say, is it complete or not? And if it's not
Mm.
complete, don't give it to me. Because all you're going to do is make me go through and look at it and bring it back to you and say, hey, I'm missing this and I'm missing that. You need to go find it.
Yeah.
And she did analysis of it, and it's going to save the agency about 11.3 hours a month in work
Mm. Wow.
by just creating this little tool that says, hey, you thought you were done, but you're not,
Yeah.
on one little piece of the agency. That's
Yeah.
11 hours that we can now spend doing research for the client, gaining greater understanding of their competition, doing more concepting and more iteration of concepts. And that's the other thing AI is great at is, I came in when I first joined my dad's agency, I was bringing in desktop publishing, and it was like this new crazy thing. Like you could set type in the shop and lay out how the words are actually going to look. AI is allowing our creatives to iterate so much more. Instead of like trying to come up with 2 or 3 concepts, they're doing 8 or 9. And then they can do iterations of 3 of those. And this is just spinning. And so the creative product that's coming out, it doesn't take any more time, but the product is better. And I've had clients ask me, he's like, well, how much cost savings is AI going to provide me from your services? I'm like, it's not going to provide you any cost savings, but here's what it is going to do. It's going to make your advertising better, and that's going to make your sales go up. That's going to attract new customers, and you're going to make more money. So how much little bit of savings I can give you is meaningless. You should let me put that to doing a better job, because that's what you really want. You want the best job I can produce, and that's what AI is going to bring to the table. And it is also the great equalizer. I mean, I'm running a shop. We have 25 people in here, and I can go up against anybody. I have the talent in the shop, the experience, the knowledge base that is good as anybody in the world. But I don't need a $14 million production budget to get something done. I mean, we just did a campaign for Maricopa County Attorney's Office, anti-human trafficking campaign. They had a minuscule budget, but we produced 30-second television commercials, for lack of a better term, mostly running on OTT for $15,000. And then the rest of the money could go into media. And the creative was amazing. I couldn't have produced this. I couldn't have taken their entire budget and produced those spots for that amount of money a year ago.
Yeah.
And so now, yes, it's all AI. And could I tell it was AI? Yeah. Could you? Maybe. I'll tell you what, Joe Q Public probably couldn't.
Yeah.
No one has commented, hey, this is AI bullshit on their YouTube or Facebook sites for them. Everybody looks at it and loves it.
Yeah. Yeah. The higher quality, you're right. There's only so efficient you can get as an organization, but the lid of how great or how effective something is basically limitless. But it brings to another point, you mentioned it kind of levels the playing field. Now everyone has access to the same tools, which also can increase the output. Like you said, 9 pieces of content instead of 3. Gives us the opportunity to test a lot more and iterate rapidly, but you have to have processes to do that. So with this playing field being leveled, how do brands stand out when everybody can create more and better content that is also, better targeted? How do you stand out?
Well, how you stand out is you have to drive more humanness into the brand. We as human beings, we relate to almost everything in our world like it's a human being. I remember my grandmother had her old Buick, and her Buick was named Francis. She didn't say, I'm going to get in the car and go to the grocery store. She'd say, Francis and I are going to go shopping. Right? This is just like the human condition. And she was a quirky lady and a little funny, but it's like, she wasn't that weird.
Yeah.
I like to say that the consultants of the world, the Deloittes and Y&R and all of them, they go into companies and they drive the soul out of the company to drive more profit or more margin into it. We do the exact opposite. We go into a company, we drive more soul and more humanness into the brand and make it more relatable. And it all has to be authentic. And if we do that, the consumers naturally are drawn to it. As I was taught, my old man taught me in the business, he said, Matt, our job is only to go get the first 10% of people for our clients. The key is we got to get that right 10%. And then that 10% will go get everybody else. So like if your buddy comes up to you and says, hey, dude, your shoes are looking a little worn, I saw some sneakers the other day. You got to check these things out. They're badass. And like
Mm.
pulls it up on his phone and shows you a picture. That is far more convincing to you than any ad I could ever feed you. Right?
Yeah.
I might have reached him through an ad and he thought it was really cool. And maybe he didn't even buy the shoes, but he's going to help identify people that they think will really like the product or service. It's that word of mouth is really where the power is.
Hey, we hope you're enjoying the coffee and the conversation so far. This show is powered by Digital Web Solutions. And if you've ever wondered how the biggest brands actually build authority, this is it. DWS has a massive network of over 250,000 publishers, real sites that help you rank on Google, and more importantly, stay visible in AI search. It's the heavy lifting most teams just can't do on their own. As a thank you for listening, they're offering an exclusive free strategy call just for our eCoffee listeners. It's a great way to map out your authority plan for 2026. Just click the link below to book yours and see how they can help scale your brand. All right, now let's get back to the show. And even more so, I mean, just harking back to what we were just talking about, if everybody has access to the same creative and the same models, like the humanness and understanding who your consumers are shines through when you get it right. And I can tell some of those brands. I mean, there's some here in Phoenix that I really resonate with, but I think what you're saying is we have to get off the screen in order to perform well on the screen. You're involved in the Phoenix community, philanthropy, community projects, things like that. I'm sure I'll see you around now that we're acquainted. How does being involved in the community influence the work that the agency does?
Well, I have a belief. One of my jokes I tell people is I might be an ad man, but I'm still trying to get into heaven. And we operate off our core principles around here. And one of them, and the first one that anybody walks in our office that they see, is we're matchmakers, not manipulators. So we believe in do no evil. So we're not here to try and make sales happen. We're here to try and get consumers to fall in love with our clients. And we recognize that's not everybody. Sometimes the clients say, I just need more people. It's like, no, you don't. You need the right people. We're trying to set them up on dates, and then we need them to perform. And being part of the community is to have that understanding and that reach out across the generations of people and socioeconomic status and all the walks of life. Is, to me, to be active in the community is just to be part of the community and to be out there every day and participating and to be a helpful hand wherever you can. Like, go out in the world, do good, right? It's not rocket science. And I've learned if you do good, universe gives things back to you, and it's good back. And if you're going to be selfish, the universe starts getting really stingy.
Yeah.
So, being a good member of the community is important for us as an agency. We have our own foundation, our charitable foundation, and we support several charities here. We encourage our people to take time off if they need to and go do community work, and encourage that heavily. And we even do things occasionally where we see a charity in need, and we'll volunteer our time and talents to go and help them and give them a boost. Like sometimes it's a small to mid-sized charity and they need a rebrand and they can't afford to go out and get new logos designed and to revamp their website. Well, we can do that. We can scrape together some hours and knock out some great work for them. And that's just kind of the fun part of it. Right now, we're doing work for the ad community. We're working on the Addy Awards for next year. We're doing all the design for that. And, it's like, well, boy, we better do a good job because it's going to be harshly judged by every competitor out there.
Yeah.
But we relish that stuff because it's like, will everybody love what we do? Of course not. But as long as we love it, we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just bringing the humanness. I mean, I keep hearing it more and more, and it's kind of interesting because there's the AI train, which, as you mentioned, if we're not jumping on the AI train, like in this industry, you're going to be left behind. But at the same time, if you're on the AI train and you're not tying it back to understanding psychology, making deeper connections, I think that's also a lose scenario. It's almost like you have to blend the two. And you mentioned giving the team time off to contribute and refresh themselves, spend time with family, etc. Are there any other sort of guiding principles that each employee or each team member needs to embody in order to fit in at
Oh,
On?
yeah. So I'll try and run through them pretty quick. We believe that only courageous ideas are the ones that matter. So if you have an idea and it doesn't kind of give you the butterflies, it's probably not a really good idea. You're being safe. So, and we tell our clients as well, if we're showing you something and it doesn't scare you a little bit, we're not doing our job. The other one is we ask our people to strive to be uncomfortable. We as human beings are built to try and seek comfort, but comfort doesn't drive change. If you're just sitting on the sofa watching the boob tube, you're not moving forward at all. If you're not running a little scared and you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing. You're not growing in your craft. You're not growing as a human. You're not growing as a friend. You're static. So we want our people to be uncomfortable. And you'll see some of these there's kind of a yin and yang to this. Then we ask them, we ask them to mistake it till you make it. We want our people to be okay to screw things up. Because we know if you're pushing the bounds, you're going to be imperfect and things are going to go sideways on you. So mistake it till you make it means make the mistake, learn from that mistake. Because this is also how you drive growth. We don't learn by getting the right answers. Like in the American school system teaches all of us to want the right answer. And I want people that relish the experience of even getting the wrong answer. The wrong answer is where you're going to learn. The right answer, you don't learn anything. Another one is, I believe joy is a big part of being great at your craft. So we have a saying around here is if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And we've all had bad days and you're showing up and you're in a bad mood and you're sitting down at your desk and I'm asking you to solve some great creative challenge or strategy challenge for a client. The odds of you doing anything productive when you're in that bad mood is probably not very high. Yep. I'd rather that person get up out of their chair, go walk around the building, go outside, call their friend, check in with mom. I don't know, go find a dog and pet a dog, whatever is going to kind of get you to shift your mood and then come back with a smile on your face and create. And our last one is really an internal one. We say, no one struggles alone. Is one of how I manage the agency is at least 4 times a day. I get up and I slowly walk the floor and I make eye contact with every employee in the place. And if I see suffering or worry or a frown, I stop and I engage and say, what can I do to help you? Like, what's going on? And we encourage our people to not leave. Like I tell leaders, it's like your staff, if you're struggling to get on a big project, your staff should not leave until you're ready to go. I don't care if you have to work till 10 and they're all here. They should all be here with you because we're going to suffer and we're going to slog it out for a while. Let's do it as a team. It makes it a lot easier. Many hands make light work. So sometimes people just love to suffer alone and we just don't allow it. We want to, like sometimes we're doing things we don't really like to do, but we're going to do it in a group and that always makes it better.
Man, that is hugely powerful, especially that last one. So it sounds like the whole team is in Phoenix, or do you have
we have one
team?
Remote employee, but he comes in, he's in New Mexico and we have an office over there. So we have one employee in New Mexico. Everybody else is here in Phoenix.
Cool. I mean, you've been a part of many agencies at various different life cycles. You've seen them exited. What is it? I mean, obviously the answer is everything. Everything matters, right? But maybe in the new AI era, let's say, where do you see leaps and bounds being made in terms of agency? Let's call it valuation, whether it's looking to be acquired by a VC or something else, but like, where do you see agency value being created?
I think agency valuation is going to be driven a lot more by the quality of the work that the agency does. I think a lot of brands, especially in consumer packaged goods, have been way too happy with mediocre work. And there's in pharmaceuticals, there's some good work, but a lot of it is so cliche. It just makes me want to stick my finger down my throat. I look at agencies like Mischief and some others that are just stretching the bounds in like how you can approach things and how you can do a marketing activation that isn't traditional and still have a community impact. I think that's where the valuations are really going to be driven. And I think clients aren't quite there yet, but AI is going to drive them to it. The great creative shops are going to rise to the top right now because their size will no longer prohibit them from having the big clients. Used to be like, if you didn't know how to do $1 million television commercial, there were a gazillion clients out there would not even hire you because they're very complex.
Yeah.
And you have to have people with a lot of experience. Where now a 25-year-old kid can sit here in a dark room and bust out the same thing in a couple of weeks that it would take 80 people to produce over 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's going to upset the apple cart. We're seeing agencies at are calling on agencies. If you're going to put AI in an ad, you have to put it in the ad. And it's like, that's such bullshit. Like we're storytellers. We're trying to make emotional connections with people. Who cares what technology there was? Like when we did desktop publishing and that came in, it wasn't a little like disclaimer at the bottom of every ad. It's like, this was done with desktop publishing.
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit. This photo was photo retouched in Photoshop. Like no one, the consumer doesn't care.
Yeah.
The ad is either meaningful to them or it's not. And then the other thing that AI is really bringing in and I'm excited about is, look, I grew up in this industry and have been in it a long time. And media has always been about what I call tonnage. It's like how many millions of communication points can I buy for how much money? That's a really inefficient way to operate. And with the data sets that are out there and people, how they are living their lives and using technology, we are going to be able to really start paring that down. We're already able to have greater impact with less money. And I think it's only going to continue. And I know the consumers are like, yeah, it can get really creepy at times. Yeah, sure. Because we're still figuring it out on our end, right? We're not like, I've had multiple people tell me my phone listens to me. And I'm like, no, your phone's not really listening to you, but we can predict through your purchasing habits, because if you use your credit card or debit card, that data is out there and it's out in the internet and we get it. And it's part of our calculations. We know when you're going to make your next purchase. So the algorithm is going to feed to us people that are more likely to buy. That's just what it is. That's what programmatic does. And so if you buy shoes every 6 months and it's been 5.5 months, we're going to be showing you some shoes you want to consider buying. It's like, hey, those are really nice shoes you had before. They'll probably get worn out. Here's some other ones that we think they're even cooler and more hip. Maybe you should check them out. And that will drive down the amount of advertising that people see. And I think that will be a burden on that can come off of the psyche, certainly the average Western consumer.
I mean, great example with the shoes. As we get toward say it again.
I like shoes. I got a lot of shoes.
You strike me as a shoe guy. You seem like the guy who would wear like some awesome new Air Jordans with a suit.
I am actually wearing tennis shoes with my suit right now.
Nailed it. As we get toward the end of the conversation, Matt, what are some risks that you see for agency owners or agencies in general as we continue down this AI path? What are some like sneaky, maybe hidden, if you don't have the decades or lifetimes of experience that might come back to bite you?
Whenever there is great change, there's going to be great risk, right? It's just, we're in the Wild West again, right? All the gloves are off. The rules are out the door. The risk is there's a lot of legal risks around AI. We still don't really the courts have not told us where the guidelines are, where are the guardrails of how to use this technology. We're told like, hey, clients are used to owning that intellectual property, Well, if we're creating any of it with AI, they can't own it anymore. So
Mm,
clients got to get used to that. That's going to be like their legal departments are not going to love that. But I
hmm.
mean, who cares in the end? Like
Yeah.
the Geico Gecko, if he was created with AI and not like actually animated, I don't think anybody else is going to be knocking the Geico Gecko off and trying to use it against them. I mean, it'd be a little foolish. I think the legalities are there, and I think like I tell people around here, we're riding the wave, right? There's this wave of technology and change coming across the modern landscape. I want to ride the wave. I don't want to get too far out in front of it because that's when the wave falls on you. So
Mm,
they're going to be the ones that get punished. So if you get too aggressive in AI, like I know shops now that they don't have creatives anymore. They just want AI to do all of it. But
mm,
AI is only looking at what has already been done. It's not. It doesn't create. It it feeds you back similar things that have already been done. So now you're just mimicking, and that's not creative. And then I see agencies that are rebelling against it and saying, we will not use AI. And the wave is going to pass them by. And once it's past you, it's going to be very, very difficult to recover from that. So the big risk is A, trying to get too far ahead of the game, and B, not getting into the game. You, agencies today have to be in the game. Most are. I think many need to be more aggressive about it and have less fear around it and embrace it and say, wow, this is really cool. It's like I do woodworking as a hobby. And so I have all these different tools that do all these different things. And if I could combine that into one super tool that did it all, like shit, I'm buying that thing. Yeah.
yeah.
And I might even not even understand how it works, but it's going to be
Yeah.
really cool. I'm going to want one. Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying, no, 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 I'm just going to stick with my planer. I've been using this planer for 40 years. I'm going to keep planing with it. Yeah,
Mm,
that's the wrong place to be. Now,
yeah.
I would say that I do worry that young people are going to have a hard time getting into the industry, which is
Hmm.
already a difficult industry to get into because wisdom and experience are going to matter more and more as things get more and more dynamic.
Mm,
So we spend a lot of time training our young people on how to think, how to approach things, how to talk to clients, how to do their job and how to embrace everything and how to lean on other people to kind of keep them within the guide rails that we want them to be in. Cause when you're young, I wouldn't say, I've always heard young and dumb. It's like, no, it's not dumb. It's young and inexperienced. And that's why we have mistake it till you make it.
mm,
They're just going to make a lot of mistakes because they don't. Right. And so they're going to come up with a bunch of stuff. And it's like, yeah, if you did that, the client's going to get sued. So we're not going to do that. And we're not even going to show them that. It's really cool, but it's like, we're not doing it. And we can do it with a smile on our face. And, you got to be humble to be good at advertising because you fail a lot. And
yeah.
like 90% of what you throw out there gets thrown in the garbage can. And you got to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But it hurts
Yeah.
sometimes.
I totally agree with that. It sounds like overall your approach is let's start with developing the person, their personal growth, how they feel and experience life, understand their worldview, and if they're, close enough to our worldview, they're going to be a good culture fit on the team, and then we can develop them with our wisdom and experience to see things more how we see based on what's worked in the past. And then we can talk about the tactics and the tools and the software and whatever else. But it really comes down to like vibing with your tribe. I mean, as woo woo as that sounds, right?
Yeah. And what I love about a great agency, and I've been part of many of them,
Mm,
is people that are in the agency life, they're in this industry for a reason. And most of the reason is they can't work anywhere else. Like they don't fit in.
yeah.
Like we got a copywriter around here. He's such a freak. Like he's like Chris Farley on steroids. The guys, and we just love him.
Yeah.
We have an open house every year. He brought his mom and dad. And I told his mom, I'm like, I think your son really finally found a place where he fits in. And
Mm,
she's like, oh, he just loves it here. He's never had an experience like this before. Because this guy trying to go into any other setting is going to be rejected 9 times out of 10. And here
yeah.
he's a genius.
Yeah.
So I sometimes I call the agency, I call it the island of misfit toys. If you remember Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, one of my favorites. It's all the
Uh-huh.
toys. It's a train with the square leg, and it's all the toys that don't fit in. That's who's here, and that's what our tribe is made of. Our
Yeah.
tribe is made of misfits in a weird way,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
which binds us very closely together, and we can play and accept each other and love each other in ways that really aren't found in other companies. Other
Yeah.
industries don't have the sort of camaraderie we do. We do all these team events, and I'm really proud of our team when we get together. It's not like, well, there's a media department, they're all over there doing talking, and over here's all the creatives. No, it is just a mishmash of people, and they're all just having fun playing together. So it's not like we don't have any cliques within the agency, and we're trying really hard to make sure we don't get them.
Yeah.
That it's a diverse group and that everybody gets to play with everybody. And that's across, age, gender, any type of persuasion of people could have. I don't care. I just want to be great at the craft and love people they work with and like showing up and doing great work.
I mean, if you stand out, that's what the agency is hired for. They're hired to take someone's brand and help grab attention from the end consumer. And it doesn't make sense if you have a bunch of, people that fit in everywhere else. How are you supposed to extract creative ideas from that?
Well,
Yeah.
and I remind clients and I remind our people that clients hire us because they can't do this themselves.
Mm, yeah.
They could probably be more efficient than we are, but they will never create the work we can create. And I'm like, one of the things I'm always most proud of is I can like have some like early 20s people here that were 23 to 25, and I can drop a gigantic problem from a significant company onto their backs and watch this 25-year-old girl pour her heart and soul into it and solve it.
Yeah.
And here's this giant company with hundreds of employees, and no one there could do that. But she will socialize it around and go and ask people questions and get ideas and come back and be like, I think I got this. It's
Mm,
amazing.
yeah. And you have to have a certain level of trust in your people in order to do that. And that goes back to the culture, the worldview. Like, yeah,
Well, and
there was a
they still have to present it to the more senior people, and they'll be like, yeah, no, that's good. Or it's like, oh,
yeah,
I don't know about that. Have you thought about this? And they're
yeah.
like, well, I haven't thought about that. Let me go back and work on that a little bit more.
But
And we
they're
can,
open to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We iterate our way to a real solution, and then we'll go pitch it.
Mm.
And
There's a
we'll let them pitch their ideas to the clients. I don't care.
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, if you're 25, I'll put you in front of some 60-year-old CEO. I don't care.
It's good for you. It builds character.
I'll be in the room. If they're going to be nasty, I'm going to smack them around. It's okay.
Right, right.
Like, don't beat my people up. We're here to help. I've literally said that in a room. Like, don't be mean to my people. We're here to help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Come on, let's play nice in the sandbox.
There's one of my favorite authors' name is Malcolm Gladwell, and he has
Yeah,
a
he's
podcast.
he's amazing.
Awesome, right? I would love to meet him. One of the things he said a couple years ago really resonated with me. He said, great writing requires you to wander down alleys only to find out they don't lead anywhere. And then to come back, but having gained that experience of the journey along the way contributes to the actual, the story.
Yeah,
So,
you have to write chapters that don't work. You're
mm,
writing a book. You're going to write a chapter. You're going to write many chapters that don't work before you get to the end product. Right.
yeah,
You have to iterate. That's part of how you actually get things done. You learn from failing.
yeah, absolutely. Mistake it till you make it, man. I
Yeah.
wrote that down. That's going to be tattooed on my forehead next time I see you running around in your suit and
I
your
can't wait to see your
Nikes.
pictures at Thanksgiving. That'll be fun.
So, Matt, where do we find out more about you, about On Advertising, and how do we reach out if we want to?
If anybody wants to reach me, they can always find me at Owens at onadvertising.com, or you can find us on the web at onadvertising.com. And I'm always on LinkedIn. You can reach me on LinkedIn. If you didn't write that down, you just look up Matt Owens, look for the weird guy, and you'll find me.
Fantastic. Well, you and I are going to have to get together for coffee and maybe a wander down an alley that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Thanks
that sounds like fun. I'm always up for
thanks for
that.
I appreciate you being an awesome guest, Matt. Thanks for sharing your experience today.
Thanks for the invitation. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it, Austin.
You got it. Cheers.
Have a good one.